Hello, everyone. This is Tammy Higginbotham, Executive National Vice President, and I am so glad to have you all on tonight. I am honored to have a special guest to me, a very special guest I know to all of you, Miss National Vice President Jill Bush. I've had a pleasure of getting to know Jill right here more on the computer before you all got on, but I have watched Jill as a leader on our NVP Facebook page, and Jill doesn't know this, but I have watched her on there since I've asked her to be a guest on here, and you know, her attitude is the most positive, enjoyable attitude to be around, and I'm wanting her to rub off on me and making sure I stay positive and see the glass full. She doesn't see it half full, she sees it totally full. So I know you're going to love her as well, and I just want you to know that she did a training in Green Bay, and the topic was don't just talk about, be about it. And I cannot wait for you guys to hear this training, but I want to share with you a little information about Jill. Now, keep in mind, this is just some highlights. There's many other things that Jill has done on her journey, but these are some incredible things that has happened on her journey. Number one, first of all, she has an incredibly beautiful daughter, Avery Bush. Avery is an RVP, Regional Vice President, and I know I've shared the video with my team of her story, and she's just a doll, and you can see where she gets her vibrance, her positive attitude, her beautiful nature from her mama. And I don't know, maybe dad too, but from what I can tell, it's mama. And then also there is, she also has a 23-year-old son. So we don't want to forget about him. I'm sure he's awesome. But 2 years ago, she was number 3 for top growth as a nation. And then also she's been in Arbonne for 13 years. And she moved quickly to RVP. You guys, she got there in 4.5 months. You can do it too. You know, she's showing you can do this. So she has also gone to the top of the company 18 months later. So she is a mover and a shaker, lots of energy, and knows what she's talking about. So you're going to want to sit close to your computer and take notes. She's also had top organizational growth, and that's a huge accolade to have as well. Now, here's a big one, you guys, that I wanted you to be sure and hear. We've not had a RVP in Puerto Rico, and Jill just promoted the very first Regional Vice President in Puerto Rico and about to promote the next one. So, you guys, here you're gonna spend this wonderful time with Jill. Don't leave your computer. Take lots of notes. And Jill, I'm going to turn this over to you. And thank you so much for your time. We greatly appreciate it.
Thank you, Tammy. You're so sweet. It's been such a fun ride. It hasn't always been a great ride. It's been a hard ride at times, and it's not always going to be easy, but I can tell you what, it's definitely going to be worth it. And promoting my daughter to RVP was the highlight of my entire reel with Arbonne. Like, it's just been amazing. So fun. And I learned from her. I learned how to just be full of life and positive. So I did a training in Green Bay. I called it, Don't Just Talk About It, Be About It. And Donna asked me to pick a topic. And, you know, I thought, oh my gosh, if I'm going to talk about, like, not just talking about it and being about it, I better get into massive activity, because if I'm going to be honest with you guys, I know you've all been where I've been. I wasn't in a lot of activity. And so I needed to be authentic, and I needed to do the work myself, and I needed to not talk about it, but also be about it. So it shifted me back into massive activity. And you know what happens when the leader shifts into massive activity? The entire team shifts into massive activity. And for those of you that don't know me, I do want to share my story, because Tammy gave you the highlight reel, and it's been amazing. I've been in Arbonne for 13 years, but you know, I joined my sponsor. She was my kickboxing partner, and she became the evidence for me. She earned her white Mercedes in the paycheck, and I joined her 9 months after just being a customer and saying no to her probably 15 or 20 times. never told me really about the business, just kept saying, will you join me? Will you join me? And I kept saying no. And when I finally decided to join, I loved the products. I went region in 4.5 months and nation 22 months total. So 18 months later. And you guys, I don't know if you've ever felt like that fire in your belly so big that no one can stop you. That's the fire that I had. That's the fire in the belly that is so important. So if you don't have that fire in your belly right now, you got to find it. And it's that fire in your belly that keeps you up at night dreaming about Arbonne and dreaming with your eyes wide open. And I totally feel like with our new CEO, Jean David, and this RE9 special and all of that, like, everybody's got the fire. I don't even have to talk to you guys about the fire because I know you all have it. So you know what I'm talking about. It's called Arbonne-induced insomnia. And I had it literally for 22 months until I reached NVP. I'm sure my husband was not happy. My kids weren't happy, but I couldn't stop, I couldn't stop. It's like that hashtag that says can't stop, won't stop. And I was just so in love with where I was going in the process. And then all of a sudden, somewhere along my journey, things kind of went flat. I stopped sponsoring. I started managing my team, and I started focusing on their activity instead of my own activity. And there were some shifts in my business, and I had some regions leave. And, along with that, their areas leave. And it's like, it seemed like my business was going down faster than it had gone up. And I don't know if any of you can relate, if you've ever been in that position where you've sponsored and then all of a sudden things just kind of go flat, or if you've ever felt that way at any point in your business. You're on fire, you're promoting like crazy, and then all of a sudden, boom, like you hit the brick wall and something happens and you can't figure out what happened. Well, that's what happened to me because I got to Nation and then I got a little bit distracted and I didn't manage the distractions. So the one tip I could tell you is, everything that comes your way is a distraction. If somebody's getting a divorce and you want to get involved in it, it's a distraction. If somebody, has gossip or anything like that, it's a distraction out of your business. And I didn't manage the distractions that were coming into my life. And I don't know if that's ever happened to you where the distractions are bigger than, everything else that's happening. And what happened to me was I lost my nation, and I'm pretty vocal about it and open about it because I believe there's a lot of people on the calls that have either lost a district or an area, or maybe they haven't gotten to district or area, or maybe they're a region that's lost it. And I just didn't really talk about it back then. People just didn't talk about it. It was almost like it was something that you didn't talk about. And I was doing region numbers as a nation for a few months, and then I had to find the magic again. I knew that the magic was inside of me, and I'm going to tell you guys, you all have the magic inside of you. If you didn't have it inside of you, you would have never said yes to this business. The magic is inside of you. First of all, you got to believe. You just got to believe, and then you've got to get it out. And you have to have that fire, that Arbonne-induced insomnia, that fire inside of you, that fire that I lost. And it was such a crazy ride. And in hindsight, I should have never stopped, but that was there. That was then. And I had to dig really deep, and I had to really connect with my why and what I wanted my life to look like and where I was going again. And I had to really set a new goal, because as you promote to each level, it's so important to set a new goal. And so I set a goal again of becoming a 4-wide NVP. And now I know that I have something to work for. And you have to set a goal of what your life's going to look like and what you want to achieve. And that was the catalyst for me to find the fire in my belly. And I want to ask you, what is the catalyst in you to find the fire in your belly? You guys, it has to be more than a paycheck. You have to be working towards something. A paycheck is great, but what is that paycheck going to do for you? What is that paycheck going to mean for you? I saw myself laying on a lounge chair in Hawaii with 4 girls sitting next to me, the 4 girls that said yes to me in the beginning of the business, changing their lives. And we had the pleasure of having Linda Parker at our Impact Tour. And there was something that she said to me that really resonated with me. And it wasn't part of the Green Bay training, but I'm going to throw it in there, because she said that when you walk away from someone and you're feeling sorry for yourself, you're making it all about you. But when you walk away from someone and you feel sorry for them, you're making it all about them, and that's where your heart should be. And so what happened to me was I just needed to get back in the driver's seat and get back on the horse, and I needed to lead from the front by example. So I just got with my team and I enrolled them in the vision of where we were going. And you guys can do that too. You can pick a song, you can pick a theme, you can pick something to enroll them in the vision of where you were going. And that vision was what we were going to grow so big that we were going to go from the nosebleed section, which I had sat in for the last 3 years. I wasn't going to sit in that section anymore at the Grand Awards Arena in Las Vegas. And I got my team together in our suite and I said, enough is enough, you guys. Like, we together can get on the floor. Like, this is crazy, you know? And I just compared myself to some of the people that were sitting on the floor and I said, they're no better than us. We can do this. And so what happened was we went from the nosebleed and then we went to the half nosebleed the next year. And then we were down in the loge section. And then from the loge section not last year, but the year before, we ended up down right in the area right by the floor. And that's the year I walked the stage as the top organizational growth. Number 3 out of 5 for top organizational growth. And you know what? That was powerful because it wasn't me that did it. It was our team that did it. And it's because I enrolled them in the vision of what was going to happen. And we had a theme song, and every time it came on, it was by Bruno Mars. My whole team knew that this was it. Like, this was our song. And our theme song was Uptown Funk. Don't believe me, just watch. They have that verse in there that says, don't believe me, just watch. And we would just jam to that on all our Zoom sessions. We would dance to it in the rooms on every trip. And you know what? It's the vision that we painted of what was possible. And that vision is what led us back into like massive, crazy momentum growth. And I just called it in and it became, and I just spoke it. And it's just like that book by Joel Osteen, the book I Am. You know, what are you saying to yourself every day? How are you speaking to yourself? And there are so many lessons and wisdoms that I learned from that period in my business that I want to share with you. And so I think these are the lessons that people were talking about at Green Bay that really spoke to them. But lesson number 1, you guys, do you. Become your true, authentic self. Your authenticity is the number 1 thing, more than anything in the world, that makes you unique, and it makes people want to join you in this business. So know your value and know that you are enough, and know that you were born to do this. You weren't called here to Arbonne if you weren't born to do this. I'm telling you right now, you were called here because you can, and you will be a national vice president and become really good at what your gift is. And people are going to be attracted to you because of your passion. It won't be what you say. It will be how you make them feel, yes. But you know what? More than anything, it's going to be that light that attracts them to you, and that light that reflects off of you to them so that they can see themselves in such an amazing place. Lesson number 2, your motivation has to be way more than the money and the paycheck. That fire in your belly is not fueled by money or fame. We all know that at the end of the day. People quit on their resolutions in the first 30 days after the year. So your motivation for Arbonne has to be way more than the money, or else they're going to quit your Arbonne business in the first 90 days. So as consultants, it's our job to help them uncover that. And they have to be connected and passionate about their goals instead of the paycheck. Because if the paycheck doesn't come in month 1 or 2, then they're going to quit. But if they know what they're working for, if they're a mom that wants to stay home with their babies and not go back to work, they're going to be connected to that goal, and they're not going to quit no matter what the paycheck is, because we're selling the dream. We're not selling, the products. We're selling the dream, and they're going to have that fire in their belly, and that fire is going to be fueled by their passion and their purpose and what they want to do in life when they hit the top of this company. And it's going to grow stronger as their belief and your belief grows stronger in this business and in this industry. And it's never going to die. It's going to be there forever. And that's when you hear people say, I'm an Arbonne lifer. I used to hear that, and I used to think, what does that mean? Like, I'm an Arbonne lifer, And now I get it. Like, I get what an Arbonne lifer is. It's wanting something so bad inside that it almost hurts because you want it so bad. It drowns out any negativity, all your other thoughts, it drowns out everything, and it's what keeps you awake at night and dreaming about what's to come. And you'll do anything in your power to make that happen. And that's the fire that I'm talking about. For me, you know, it's like after I had a child that I lost and I wanted a daughter so bad, I like couldn't get over it. I just sat there and wanted her so bad. And that's that kind of fire that I'm talking about. Or maybe it's promoting an Arbonne, and, you know, whatever it is, you've got to find that fire. Okay, number 3, this was huge for me. And thank you, you know, thank you, because losing my nation, it created losing my ego. And because my ego wasn't serving me. And when I lost my nation, I lost my ego. And that was the best possible thing that could happen to me. And Tammy's right. I try to see the glass half full, because if you see the glass half empty, no matter what's going on around you, it's not serving us. It doesn't serve anyone. It doesn't serve your team. It doesn't serve anyone. It just creates massive distractions. So I was trying to be someone else when I was growing my Arbonne business before I lost my nation. I was trying to, you know, copy somebody else, and it wasn't working. It wasn't me. I wasn't my authentic self. So I was edging God out, and that's what ego is, edging God out. Okay. Lesson number 4, lead from the heart, you guys. People respond authentically to honesty and love. Love is the universal language among all people. A hug, a smile, you know, telling somebody how pretty they are, you know, make them feel good. Now people always tell me, like, you're so authentic, you're so real, you just say it like it is. And the more real I am about my journey and who I am, the more people like me. Like before, when I pretended to be somebody else, everybody thought I was mean. Now they think I'm nice. So that's the best compliment somebody can give you, is when they tell you you're real. You know, be okay with being you, like being you. When you fall in love with yourself, everyone else does too. So self-love is huge in this business. And, you know, just make authenticity your love language as well. Lesson number 5, leadership and success are not built through the triumphs, but rather through the darkest times and struggles. We can't teach it if we haven't lived it, you guys. So if you haven't lost a title or you haven't struggled in your business, you can't possibly teach your business builders about it. So you got to go through it. And had I never lost my nation, I don't think I could love on the same level with my team that I do today. So what is the one thing that has happened to you guys that brought you to be the amazing leader you are today? Each of you has something unique to you that makes you a great leader. What is that one thing? Uncover it. Because every amazing, legendary leader that there is, or business owner or millionaire, you know, has hit roadblocks along their way to the top. Steve Jobs, Sylvester Stallone had to sell his dog and buy it back. Henry Ford. I mean, the list could go on and on and on. So lesson number 7, and I love this. I learned this from my daughter when she was playing college volleyball. Her coach taught this to her, and it just, wow, it just stayed with me. And that's, you never lose, okay? You either win or you learn. So you never lose, you either win or you learn. And that was just a huge lesson that my daughter taught me from her volleyball coach. And she's still today pursuing her dream of playing professional beach volleyball. She actually plays on a couple leagues that are professional. And it's just so fun, because now I remind her when she's so frustrated and she lost and she's not in the finals, I always say to her, well, you taught me, Avery. You either win, you know, or you learn, and you're learning. So what did you learn from your mistakes? Our setbacks will ultimately determine our success. I really believe that. And learning from the obstacles on our way to the top is going to define me, and it's going to define you as a leader. And that's the beautiful thing about the setbacks. And it's going to give us wisdom. We don't get wisdom from just having an easy road. It's going to give us wisdom and resilience to be able to lead our teams to their dreams, right? Because we're selling the dream. We're not selling products. Lesson number 8, my fearless leader, Lisa Voorhees, Executive National Vice President, told me, and I love this, this gets me fired up. Every time I say it, I get out of bed and I say it and I call her and I'm like, I'm on fire. And she laughs. But Lisa told me that if you set yourself on fire, even the neighbors will come out to watch. And she's so right, you know? So every day I try to think of how I'm going to set myself on fire. So keep lighting yourself on fire over and over and over and over again until you figure out how to win. And until someone says, girl, what is it that you're doing? Like, you're having such an amazing time. You know, Instagram is such a huge tool for us now, right? Instagram stories, if you're not doing those, start doing those, because people are watching. Whether they tell you they're watching or not, they are. And we have so many people that we've heard stories of people join their business from Instagram stories. So lesson number 9, I learned that as consultants and as leaders, and you're all leaders, once you signed up and, you know, paid your $29 or $79, or now it's $49, you became a leader. And we're just actually building people. That's all we're doing. But lesson number 9, I learned that our vision has to be so big that we enroll our teams in it, and anyone that's within 3 feet of us. And that's the 3-foot rule that I used to teach my team, that you talk to everyone within 3 feet. And vision painting, when you do it enough, will become a natural skill in every conversation that you have. And you might fail, you know, you might think you fail, but you never really fail. You only continue to build and get better at everything you do. And so I have a 3-foot rule that when anyone's within 3 feet of me, I am talking to them and listening and asking questions and finding out about them, so that I can get them to ask me about me, so that I can then get either their Instagram or their phone number, whether it's talking about the business or the 30 days. So if you aren't good at it, I promise you, you'll get really good at it. It's just practice and painting the vision of, hey, you know, like on the 30 days, like, hey, Tammy, when you do this 30 days with me, those jeans you're rocking right now, they're going to be hanging on you. You're going to have to go get 2 sizes, you know, too small to get into a pair of jeans. Those aren't going to fit you anymore. And people start visualizing it, and they're like, yeah, oh my gosh, you know, like, it's going to feel so good. So make them curious, and don't share, you know, make them curious that if they don't come in and do this with you, that they're going to miss the boat. And that's really fun to do. I did that in Puerto Rico with a Uber driver, and he literally turned around and came into the meeting with me. So lesson number 10, I learned that this was really big for me when I lost my nation, and I've shared this with a lot of friends in many areas of their life, not even in Arbonne, that the truth will set you free. And that gave me the freedom to be unapologetically me, and to tell my story, but most of all, to own it. So own your story. Be proud of who you are and where you are, you know, because you're an amazing leader. I promise you, if you're on this call tonight, you're an amazing leader. If you said yes to Arbonne, you're amazing for just saying yes. You are 100% to 1,000% ahead of where you would have been had you never said yes to this business. And then lesson number 11, to not compare, but instead compliment and be happy for other people's successes. Comparison makes you feel inadequate. It sure did for me. And complimenting makes me feel whole and good inside, and I can sleep at night. Lesson number 12, to not have expectations. Expectations just lead to frustration, you guys. If you expect something and it doesn't happen, then you end up frustrated. Lesson number 13, to know where you're going. Rita Davenport used to always say, the world steps aside for the person that knows where they're going. And I have that in my house. Actually, I have framed affirmations around my entire house. So my family sees it, my guests see it, my team sees it, and I see it every day. And it's like playing darts. You guys all know how to play darts, right? If you're a visual person and you're playing darts, what are you aiming for? You're not aiming to hit the outside. You're aiming to hit the bullseye. You know, you're not aiming for that outside rim. So you want everything you do to give you the biggest result back. So with the dartboard, I know that you're aiming for the bullseye, and it's the highest score. So just be really honest with yourself. You know, are you playing to win? What are you aiming for? Lesson number 14. This is huge, and I preach it on my team all the time. Be your own lookbook. We are our own advertisement. When you open your purse, it better be all Arbonne. When somebody comes to your house, it better be all Arbonne. And it's not because I want to make money from it. It's because people need to see that you are all in. So when you live the 30 days and you do the 30 days, no matter what size you feel changed. I don't know what it is about that 30 days, but you feel like a changed person. And you become a magnet for people to be drawn to you is what happens. So how important is that in this company, do you think, for us to be magnets in this business? It's super important. So do it, do the 30 days and commit to it like you were being paid $1 million to do it. Because in actuality, you kind of are when you succeed in this business. It's $1 million business. Lesson 15, work ethic is huge in this business. People don't get to the top 10 by accident. It's so intentional. I spent the day with Donna Johnson when she stayed over at my house, and I watched how she worked. She's very intentional about her business. Everything she does is intentional and on point. She treats Arbonne like $1 million business, and she has from day one, I'm pretty sure. And that's why she is where she is. And that's why she has what I want and probably what all of you want. I think we all want her paycheck. So if we want what she has, or Cecilia's paycheck, if we want what she has, we have to do what they do, right? Lesson number 16, focus on the things you love about the business and that you are good at. If you're focusing on something that you're not good at, people are going to sense your insecurity, and they're going to sense that like little bit of mistrust. And if you are doing something that you're good at, people are going to be attracted to you in the business. And then 17, social media is a huge distraction, you guys. As much as we need to post on there, it's a huge distraction. Get on, post, do your likes, allocate your time for it, and that's it. Don't scroll or stalk like I used to do. It takes up your entire day. Literally, have you found yourself in your pajamas at 3 o'clock in the afternoon because you've been on Facebook the entire day? Because I have. So calendar in your Facebook hours. People don't have time anymore because they spend so much time on social media. So teach them early when they come into this business what it looks like to be on social media as an Arbonne consultant. And you guys, after I lost my title, I played hurt for a long time. I was scared. I was unsure. I was insecure. I took it personally. And then I realized I came up with this thing. I don't know if it was a download or what it was, but I thought, you know what? I can either empower someone to succeed or I can enable them to fail. And the more hurt I played, the more I enabled people on my team. And the more life I breathed into them, the more I became the evidence and the more empowered they became. I became a truth teller to my team, telling them what was on my heart with love. And I don't know if anyone on this call, there's a lot of people on this call. If any of you are playing hurt right now, just, it's not worth it. It won't take you anywhere. You know, don't be afraid to go to your next level, because you know, you're not going to let anybody down by being afraid. You're going to let everybody down by just staying where you're at. So I just want you to think about where you want to be next year when I come back on this call and train with Tammy, because I'm coming back. And I want you to ask yourself, what is the one thing you could do right now? One thing to have an impact on your business. And then I want to ask you, what is the one thing that is holding you back? Is it lack of organization? Is it follow-up? Is it fear? There's one thing. For me, it was always lack of following up. And then what is the one activity, income-producing activity thing that you could do more of to get to the next level? Just one thing. And then I want you to think about this. What will your life look like when you take action on that one thing? What will your life look like in 5 years if you don't? And I love something else that Linda Parker said. She said, don't fear of coming back. Don't fear of, don't have fear about talking to people or whatever. Fear being in the same place at this time next year. And that was powerful. I'm like, oh, that's getting me off the couch. So are you willing to pay the price? Are you willing to do those things? Do the one thing that's going to make a difference in your business. Commit and decide today. Say, I'm willing to pay the price. I'm willing to pay the price. I'm going to do it. I'm going to follow up. I'm going to book more parties. I'm going to do more virtuals, whatever it is. And be honest with yourself, because you guys, the truth is just going to set you free. And you will be willing to pay the price because you are good enough. And write it down every day. Your story is a story that needs to be told from the main stage. People need to hear you. Each one of you have an individual story that we can all benefit for. And I just want to really, thank you, Tammy, for allowing me to be on this call and pour into your leaders. I hope that somehow something I said blessed people tonight, because I feel like when I'm with my Arbonne peeps, the new, the old, and I feel like I'm just better with all of you guys, because your guys are like your family, and we're all one huge, big family. And I love this tribe. I love this life. And it's amazing, you guys. So lean in, drink the Kool-Aid, give yourself permission to drink the Kool-Aid and go all in, and, just do this business, because I don't even know how to describe it. Like, I can't even tell you how it feels to be at this point and look back and see like so many people succeeding behind you. Like, we're leaving a legacy, and it's absolutely amazing. And I know you guys, I know you're afraid, because I was afraid, you know, and I'm still afraid. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm going to be so honest with you. Picking up the phone, I don't like it, but I do it because I know if I want to be four wide, like, I have to take action, and I can't just talk about it. I have to be about it. So yeah. Thank you so much, Tammy.
Well, oh my goodness, you have blessed us big tonight. So Jill, I don't know how we could just thank you. I mean, you just touched on so many things and everything. I mean, I look at this and I see, first of all, I'm going to hold you to that training for us again next year. Yeah. I'm going to hold you to that. So put that on your calendar. When it's my turn, my month, I've got you, Jill.
I love it. I love it. I love Arbonne, because I was telling somebody the other day, it's not, I mean, I know when you want the paycheck, like, the paycheck is the most important, but the relationships that you create with people are just priceless, because you can't take money with you everywhere. Yeah, it pays your bills and does all that stuff, but the relationships that you create and how you go through life with these people, and, you know, get to Hawaii, you guys, because that's where you really create these deep-seated relationships, as you're sitting on lounge chairs talking to people. And we can have a whiteout at GTC. I'm just saying, we can have a whiteout at GTC. We can blow Jean David's socks off and have so many promotions that he doesn't even have a hotel big enough for us to sleep in.
Absolutely. So, there's not a pool big enough to hold us all out at the white party.
Yeah.
You know, there's so many things you said, and I love that, claim it. And, the part where you're talking about laying awake at night, you know, I remember, I mean, just laying there tossing and turning because I'm thinking of people. And I found that again. And, you know, there's periods where you get out of that, and it's not attaching yourself to, you know, or keeping your whys fresh and you're in front of you. And I love that you brought that up again, because it's, if you're tossing and turning before you go to bed at night and you're thinking about Arbonne, it's in you. And that's when I know that my mind is right, is when I'm thinking about Arbonne when I go to bed. So, but not being someone else, I think that is an extremely key point, that we focus on being who we are, because there's, you know, we watch people that are up here that have done amazing things, and we want to copy and be them, but you can be you and have what they have. And I think that that's important, because people buy you. And I love that you mentioned that. And no expectations, that was another one. And it keeps you from your heart being broken so bad, because you love people so much, and you want this for them so bad, but you just can't have an expectation that they don't want for themselves. So I love that too. But there were so many. I took so many notes, and I know my team did too. And then let me see if there's any. I want you to look at the chats here. Okay. There's all kinds of people saying wonderful things. They're so excited. They were so excited to hear from you. Woohoo! You know,
I will tell you, Tammy, it was really interesting. The other day, on close night, I was talking to another NVP, and I said, "How was your close?" And she said, "Oh, I did 20,000 in my district and 40,000 in my area." And I was sitting with one of my daughter's area managers, closing with her, and she's like, "How did she do that?" And I said, "Well, let's ask her." And so I said, "Well, how did you do that?" She said, "You know, I just keep signing people up, and they're not all rock stars. You know, most of them don't want it, but each one of those people that get signed up, they just do a little. So I have this whole group of people that are just doing a little bit, that's creating this 20,000 in my district and that 40,000 in my area." And so you guys think about that. Like, you know, if we stop sponsoring, which is where like the lifeline of this business is, think about that. Just look at everybody, you know, as a yes, no, or a maybe, and keep dripping on them. I think another girl I heard had talked to her friend 40 times before she said yes. 40 times, and she's a new regional vice president this month.
That is so cool.
Team. 40 times she asked her.
Amazing. And, you know, that is true, is that every single person that comes into your business is important. It's the brick and the mortar, it's all important. And because people, as they grow and as they start to understand more, you know, it's all of a sudden they start getting it and they'll start growing. But we love on everybody, you know, we love them, and that's where they are, but it's all of it works together. All of it does. So everybody's important. I agree with that totally.
And you guys were born to do this. Don't ever forget that. Like, you're important. You matter. And when you meet the CEO, and I know Beth was there the other night, you're going to see that your title doesn't matter. He doesn't care.
That's awesome.
A consultant is just as important as an NVP. So you are important. He wants to know what you want. You know, he wants to know who you are. And it's amazing to have that kind of leadership at the top of our company. And I truly believe that he has ignited and fired up our field. And we're going to grow like crazy. And so if you're not talking to your friends, I guarantee you someone else is going to be talking to him.
Absolutely. He totally gets the culture. Yeah. Totally gets it. And I love that about him too. And I'm glad that you brought him up because he gets it, and he just seems like a very genuine person. I don't know. I'm just really pumped, Jill. I'm excited. My glass is full, girlfriend.
Now you guys won't be able to sleep tonight, right? I'll be up. I'll be up working. You can Facebook me.
No, I'm going to be thinking about all these things that you talked about tonight. And Jill, we thank you so much for your time. And we look forward to our time with you next year in 2019. And again, I want you all to think about where you're going to be in 2019 when Jill Bush comes back on here to share with us. I want you to write this down right now in your calendars, and then think about it. We're going to, in the messages next year this time, you're going to put in there, Jill, I went from here to here. So we're going to celebrate that all together.
I'll take a picture of them. Hold on, I got to take a picture of them.
Okay.
We'll get them, you guys, next year at this time. Well, actually, you guys will all be at GTC in white Mercedes. You'll be driving.
Absolutely.
There'll be a train of them coming in.
At the white party, absolutely. So just walk up to Jill and say, hey, I'm one of those people on that call.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's so fun.
Jill, thank you so much for blessing us tonight. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
And I might see you in Laguna soon.
Anytime. My door is open.
Thank you.
Okay. Bye.
Good night.
Good night.